Hey,
Yeah.
so what are we doing here? There's one last segment to this podcast.
Yeah. We had a free slot and I thought we would and I just kind of realized some tradition we had uh if you don't mind me talking, Willer, for a hot minute. But basically I want to say like every month, maybe we skip a month depending on how life is going, but we make a trip to Austin and we always do
It's,
two
it's
things.
not
We
every month. It's like 3 times a year at this rate.
maybe, yeah. But we make a trip to Austin and we do karaoke, but we also go to a place called Pinballs, which is a huge arcade in Austin, and it has a bunch of games, and we have a great time. And I was talking to someone about this earlier, but to me, like arcades are like the most social form of video game entertainment.
Of course.
Um, and like I grew up always like adoring arcades. Like I love them. I love the lights. I love the idea of going in and like trying to get as far as you can in the video game that
Hmm.
scams you out of your money. Um, but I just wanted to open the floor about what y'all's personal opinions and like what y'all's like favorite games we've played at pinballs or wherever in life in terms of arcades.
I want to step back and say my arcade stories. I
Yeah.
grew up in barcades, basically,
Mm-hmm.
where a young 4 or 5 year old Willer would go with his dad, where he would play soccer at an indoor court that had a bar in like a little arcade area, and I'd raise hell and I'd go pee on people and they would get mad at me and like
What?
Yeah.
Bradley knows I don't like this
Oh, I
kind
know.
of I don't like this kind of game. Um, and yeah, like I would play arcade games there. There was a bar slash arcade right next to my house growing up, and we were friends with the owner, so I was also always there. After playing soccer, you go there and play fighting games and shit. Um, while everyone was getting drunk, it was great times. So I've always had a fondness, and it's a shame because it's the dying art. Like there's not many arcades left to where Dave and Buster's and main events are like the most common arcades. But then you get pinballs, which is like, okay, we're gonna take this Dave and Buster's formula, but we're gonna take it to the next level. It's going to be bigger and better, and you're gonna get to become a robot and pose with your waifu, and it's just great.
Mm-hmm. Uh, yeah, I love pinballs because pinballs to me like really is like accentuates like you as a kid going to Chuck E. Cheese, what you always wanted to do, basically, but then as an adult and throw in alcohol.
Yeah,
So and it's basically judgment free in terms of what you're doing
good
there.
drinks too at good prices over there.
Yeah, yeah. But Bradley, you have any fun arcade stories before I go into my personal favorite games?
I hadn't been to. I was never. I didn't really have the opportunity to go to arcades a lot when I was little.
Hmm.
Most of my arcading has been as an adult with you guys, and
Hmm.
man, arcade's fun.
They're rare in Texas, you know. So
Yeah,
like growing up here, I never like when we were kids in the Texas area, they didn't really do arcades anymore.
yeah,
They came back recently because we're all nerds and we're willing to pay for alcohol and games
Yeah.
and laser tag and shit
and go karts,
and go karts.
fucking go karts, man. But yeah, but in terms for like when I grew up, there was always one game that every time I saw this game, I was just like, "This is a great arcade." It literally just solidified the arcade for me, wherever it was, and it was the original Star Wars trilogy game, uh, arcade game. And that game like is basically like a 10-year-old's dream when they love Star Wars. If you don't know what the game is, it's a rail shooter where like you have like a you just sit there and you're just moving through, but you have a like a stick and you aim and you shoot things as they come onto the screen. Um, but like the game picks out very choice scenes in each movie. Like the first level is basically you blowing up the Death Star, and the next
Oh,
one is
starting strong.
yeah, you blow up the Death Star. Next one is the Battle of Hoth, and that one's like longer and bigger because not only are you like going around the AT-ATs and shooting things up, you end up into the base. You have to like blast your way out of it to get to the Millennium Falcon. And then between that level and the level after that, you get the bonus level where you fight Boba Fett as Luke Skywalker with his lightsabers. So you're just like,
Oh, good. They got some use out of Boba Fett.
yeah, so you're like sitting there, and you deflect him, and because deflect his like laser blast as he's flying around, and because he's flying around, you can't like just go up and hit him. You have to like deflect the blast at certain angles when they show you to hit them back at him. And it's a really fun boss battle.
That sounds
And
like a
then
pretty.
that fall-
That sounds like pretty intense for that time period. Honestly.
Yeah, it's hard. And then after that, you end up on indoor, and you're doing like the speeder scene in that movie, followed up by you shooting your way to the shield base and blowing and fighting an ATSC, the small little chicken walkers, which then leads into the best part of that game, which is you have a lightsaber duel with Darth Vader.
Is this a first person or third person?
It's a
game?
first person game.
How do you? Whoa, that's weird.
Yeah, it's at pinballs. Like I went there and played it
really?
last time we were there.
Oh shit. Okay. I need
Yeah.
to check it out next time.
Yeah, like it's my favorite game. I go and play it every time we go there.
For me as a kid, Marvel vs. Capcom 1, that was the shit. I would be bewildered at that. And then I'd play Mortal Kombat with my mom and my brother, and they would kick my fucking ass, and I'd be like, "It's only because you guys are big." I would massacre them in any fighting game these days. I could vaporize them with my thoughts.
I think it's funny that your mom beat you at a fighting game.
She can't anymore.
She can't anymore.
She's the real
but-
mother now. Bradley, what are your favorites that you've played recently at pinballs? Like, of course, we got to talk. This is our chance to talk about Killer Queen, right? Like,
I was gonna say like Killer Queen is
Yeah.
like that is just the best arcade game to me.
I feel like 2 times ago we didn't get to play much, but I felt like this time we got some good rounds in.
man, like just the entire concept and design of the game is so good, and nothing beats just like talking shit to the people on the other side of the
Yeah.
And I will hold that this time they started shit talking. They were like cheering after killing us once, and that prompted me to get a little mean. Okay, I just want to say.
Shit talking is well and good so long as you're respectful afterwards about it.
Yeah, we're cool. The way Killer Queen works, if anyone listening doesn't know, because there's not that many machines out in the world, you pay one payment of $2 for 10 people to play, and you're 5v5. You can also play with AI if you don't have all 10 people. But this means that you can find a group of people to go against and just get in rounds. And it's such a popular machine that there's always people hovering around, just waiting for the chance to swoop in. And you're controlling these characters in like a side-scrolling platformer combat game where you have a queen that can fly, and she can kill the other queen 3 times, or you guys can collect enough berries, which is like you pick up a berry and you bring it to your base, or you can ride this really slow snail to one of the ends of like a track. So there's 3 win conditions, and they're so well designed to where you can just pivot on the fly, and you have to stay on top of the game. It's coming out on the Switch as well if you guys want to play at home. I have no idea what's in that version though.
Dude,
To me-
Killer Queen Black, new maps, new units, new like there's like weapons and shit. Like, oh my god,
New units and weapons is huge actually.
it is so cool.
But
And the
here's
graphics.
thing, Killer Queen on Switch has no appeal to me. Because to me, what makes Killer Queen so special is because it was a game that took what was the best part of an arcade, which is the social aspect of it, as you're all gathered around an arcade cabinet playing the same game, and there's the person next to you you're playing against, and just being able to sit there and be visibly in that space with that person, to me, is a huge part of what makes arcades so unique, and really emphasizes like what more arcade games need to be, is providing an electronic entertainment that you could only do face to face.
Now hear me out though. You, me, and the Switch boys and some beers and just playing on Switch, still fun. It's not. You're right. It's not as fun.
Right.
Yeah, like I think at home Killer Queen is definitely not the superior version, but considering how far apart we all live, I think it'll be good in the
And it's
meantime.
still a fun version. And here's the cool thing about Killer Queen as well. We often go with like inexperienced people who like they might not play games very much, so they might not know how to play very much. Very casual gamers, you might say. But Killer Queen is so easy to control, and it's so easy to explain, and there's 5 of you, so you can always carry the load, and it's really easy to pick up, and people immediately get into it because they immediately figure out how to play.
Yeah, and the other thing too is that game has so many different ways to play. Like your team could be the economic kind of root team where all it focuses on is gathering berries.
Yeah.
Or it could be the combat oriented team where everyone's a warrior and tries to kill everything. or it's like the sneaky team that tries to get that
That snail.
fucking snail into
So
the
good.
goal.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I was a very good queen last time. Long live.
Yeah.
Other good pinball games. I mean, there's just so much. Like,
Yeah.
pinball's the kind of place you go. Like, they have mini bowling. They got
Mini bowling
go
does slap.
karts. They got all sorts of arcade and pinball machines. Every time I go, I will just play some random stuff, just a couple of them. Have a completely different experience than the other time. Just so many
Yeah.
ways to mix and match your little credits.
For me, the biggest thing that I love about pinball is because it's something that not a lot of arcades do anymore because they're so expensive, is the pinball machines.
Oh yeah, they're
I
really fun.
I love pinball machines, like especially older ones, because newer ones rely more on like digital technology and like screens. But like you get these old ones, and they're dioramas of these like movies or TV series
And they're
or
super well
magazines.
made.
Yeah. And like it's so great because you can look into these pinball machines, you can see the story that they're trying to tell through this pinball machine, and you kind of like it's to
There's
me
an
it makes
art
me
to
so
it.
giddy. Yes. But I love looking at them and I love seeing what they've chosen to represent within their pinball machines as like a model or a ramp or a bumper, and what they how that translated to from the screen or whatever into a pinball machine.
Bradley, have you played the pinball machines at pinballs?
I think I've only played the Shrek one just because for the memes.
There's
Yeah.
stories involved. Yeah. Okay. Next time you should try them out. They're really good.
Yeah.
It is annoying because you have to go get coins, but
But coins can be used on all the other machines, which is really good.
man, arcade's really fun. I can't wait till we go in 2 weeks. Actually,
Yeah.
we're gonna have to do a segment over karaoke because I am extremely passionate about karaoke. But that's a fight for another
I think
day.
we all have. Like we had like it's gone into our routine.
Yeah.
But like next week's
And-
gonna be great because we're gonna have an extended pinball stay rather than our usual 2 hours.
Yeah,
So we're gonna really be there and see everything. I feel.
Bradley, why
Hey.
don't you free our souls so I
All
can
right.
turn on my AC?
Hypothetical situation right here.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Take
So,
that.
look, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
You're at the McDonald's drive-thru, right? And you
Yeah.
order whatever the hell people order at McDonald's.
Yeah.
And you get to the window and the drive-thru guy holds out a box and you're like, this is not, I didn't order a box. And he opens it up and there's 3 fruits in there, okay?
Okay.
And he says, you have to choose one of these fruits. And they're all labeled. One of them says it's the pom-pom fruit. One of them says it's the tap-tap fruit.
Ooh.
And the other one says it's the knock-knock fruit.
Ooh, these are fucking good.
You have to pick one. Which and I'll reveal what it does after you pick it.
Okay, you're gonna tell me what it does, but I'm gonna tell you what it should actually do as a One Piece expert.
Okay.
But
Pom-pom, tap-tap, or knock-knock.
I'm gonna take the knock knock fruit, but the
No,
pom pom fruit.
brother, that was the one I was gonna take.
Fine. I'll take the pom pom fruit. You take the knock knock.
No, you take the knock knock fruit. You're in the driver's seat here. I'm the.
No, you
passenger.
drive. You have the nicer car, so you drive.
Oh,
That's
God
how we
damn
do
it.
it.
Why am I driving now? All right, I'll take the knock knock fruit.
Nice. I get the pom pom fruit,
Shit,
which
that was
leaves
the
Bradley.
only one that I didn't know what it would do.
Wait, what?
I thought of what the other two would do. I didn't think of what the knock knock fruit would do, so we have to improvise here.
Bradley, you get the
Wait.
tap tap fruit. So why don't you lead us with what you get?
Yeah.
Okay. Tap tap fruit is you tap on things, and it kind of works for any repeated action, but the more you do it in a row, the stronger it gets. So I'm tapping on the ground, right?
Mm-hmm.
It starts out tapping like normal strength, but the more I tap, the stronger it gets, and eventually it's just like total earthquakes, earth shattering. I can go ball, and I go up to my opponent and I'm just like tapping him, and at first he's like, "Oh, this is stupid. Oh wait, that tickles. Oh wait, that fucking hurts. Ow, I'm dying."
Stop. So we're still talking about JoJo's Part 5 of Craftwork.
Yeah, there you go.
Cool. Very nice.
So who's
Pom pom
getting?
fruit for me.
You're getting pom pom.
Yeah. Also, what kind of man do you become? Because whenever you eat a fruit, you become a blank man. So you become a tap man.
Yeah, sure. I'm tap man. You become. I don't know. I'll tell you what it does, and then you tell me.
Okay.
So you can get other willers that split off of you. And you can all do acrobatic moves, much like cheerleaders would be able to. You can make pyramids and stuff like that. And you do coordinated attacks on your enemy. And your ultimate move is that you make a bunch of cheerleader willers come out, and you all like link arms and legs, and you make like a mech of like a giant mech of cheerleader willers.
Wow, you're who spoiled you on One Piece shit. That's really cool. I feel like they would describe that as like, I'm a cheering squad human or something in One Piece.
A cheer human.
Yeah. Well, no, that's not the name of the fruit.
You
know how Mr. Five describes himself as human dynamite because he has the boom boom fruit. It's like that. I would think that it's a fruit that lets me cheer my opponents on like a cheerleader.
Hey.
So I'd have to like do cheer things to pump up my crew. But I like yours as well.
And then knock knock fruit, Joe carries around a door in each hand, like a sized door. And obviously he hits people with them, he shields with them, but what he can do is he can slam the door into the ground. And his opponent, obviously, like the door will be between him and his opponent. And if the opponent runs to the other side, Joe won't be there. In order to find Joe again, he has to knock on the door.
Wow.
But whenever the door opens, there's going to be like something dangerous on the other side, like maybe a tiger jumps out, or it leads to a totally different place. I don't know.
No comment.
Yeah.
No comment. Anyways, very good fruits.
Oh no, I spoiled the end of One Piece.
Very cool fruits. That was a very good question, Bradley. You're getting better.
Yeah. There you go. We're strong.
All right. Let's
I
sign
still
off.
like the Sasquatch one.
The what now?
The Sasquatch one.
What?
Like your dad's been Sasquatch.
Like
oh, that was a wild one. All right.
This has been the Roundabout cast with me and no one else. Bye bye.
Bye bye. I mean, I'm not here.